disperses 3 years Jotna fundraisers. Gambia inaugurates International
The Ministry of
Conference
Transport, Work and
Ghanaian conference currency takes toll on small businesses. These and more coming on the world today. Hello, it is 17:30 GMT here in our studios in Banjul. You are watching The World Today. My name is Amadou Kante, and now the news in detail. Police on Friday dispersed members of the Operation 3 Years Jotna from conditions that the group didn't obtain permit for this exercise. The group considered this move as an attack on democratic values, which amounts to provocations to the Operation's 3 years Jotna. The subject of discussion is still on holding President Adama Barrow accountable to his 2016 campaign promise to serve a transitional term of 3 years. Binta Baji has more of that in this report.
Spokesperson of Operation 3 Years Jotna Pressure Group said they are disappointed with Gambian police force for disbanding their Friday fundraising event interlending due to lack of permit. Haji Swane told the iAfrica Good Morning Africa program on Monday that it was never a requirement to obtain police permit before holding a fundraising exercise, and then wondered why it was the case for 3 years Jotna. On Friday, police occupied the Semikajane Hall and dispersed the congregation organized by the group, with aim to mobilize resources to facilitate its movement.
Motani foundation bi dem apply permit because ñu gis ne lolu is not necessary for a permit because dañ ko don def.
Lolu ngeen yaakar.
Waaw lolu leen lañ yaakar because dañ ko don nekkul ne am experience li dama am experience. A vast experience in it nga. Why su gis nga ne applying permit waru ñu apply permit. Ñun lolu lañ ko gisé. Why su fekkee ñun gis neen war nañ apply permit ñu stop ñu pour buñ further go into that event. Ñun tam ñu retreat. Another process. Why?
He added that the group did not want to cause any trouble, and that was why they obeyed the police without trying to find out whether their action was lawful or not.
Nangu ne suñu waxee loi la nekkul nangu ne loi la de waaye su fekkee police yi ñëw ne ñoom di def loi bi ci seen law di violate citizens right ñun war ñoo def loi bi suñu lexoon ñun tam ñu bëggal leen xeex jarut ñun suñu ñëwee négatif ñun ñu dem positive.
Operation 3 Years Jotna is one of the leading groups exerting pressure on President Adama Barrow to respect the 3 years campaign promise through coalition in 2016. Last month, they launched a peaceful procession in the outskirts of Old Joshua to Denton Bridge along the highway to the capital city Banjul, where its leadership handed petition to the presidency. For iAfrica News, I am Binta Baji.
From that report they are done by Binta Baji. Of course, we will move on from that 3 years Jotna field fundraising event on Friday, and we talk on something different. Well, in an anticipation to host the world's second largest international conference in 2021, Gambia's Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure will this week inaugurate the $1 million center in the country. The complex has capacity to host more than 1,000 persons. With 14 bilateral meeting rooms, is also expected to serve as a source of revenue for the government. Aissatou Tamba have more of that in this report.
The Ministry of Transport, Work and Infrastructure has announced the completion of the International Conference Center in Bijilo, which will be inaugurated by President Adama Barrow on Saturday. The construction of the center formed part of Gambia's preparation to host the Organization of Islamic Cooperation Summit of Head of States and Governments, which was initially planned for 2019. The bid to hosting the world's second largest intergovernmental organization after that of the United Nations was a long-time dream of former President Yahya Jammeh, who now lives in exile in Equatorial Guinea. With a membership of 57 states spread across continents, the organization is the collective voice of Muslim world. It endeavors to safeguard and protect the interests of the Muslim world in the spread of promoting international peace and harmony among various people of the world. The conference center in the coast of the Gambia was put up through a $50 million, mainly with support from the People's Republic of China. The state-of-the-art structure consists of a plenary hall with a seating capacity of more than 1,000 people, 4 adjoining conference hall, VIP and bilateral rooms, press and meeting rooms, offices, banquet halls, and entertainment spaces. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Aissatou Tamba.
Well, of course, that was Aissatou Tamba there reporting, of course, on the inauguration of the OIC Center, which is, of course, slated for this week by the Minister of Works and, of course, Infrastructure. We would hope to bring you more of that in our subsequent news bulletins. Now, from that, barely a week after its decision to join the West African currency that will replace the CFA franc, this year entrepreneurs are getting fed up with the Ghanaian cedi for ongoing muscular turn. The economy of the world's second largest cocoa producer continues to depreciate and now reaches the point putting small businesses at a crossroad. The cedi is said to have fallen by more than 10% against the dollar in 2019. The proposed name for the currency that the West African Monetary Zone plans to introduce in the framework of Economic Community of West African States to create a common currency for much of West Africa.
Nana Adom imports most of his electrical goods from China. It's a surefire way to keep prices low, yet things are getting more expensive. The continuous depreciation of the Ghanaian cedi against the US dollar means he's paying more for the same products.
I already import the goods with the dollar and bring it to Ghana here. We use cedis to buy it. So if the customer come and the price of the goods has been increased, they compared a lot.
In 2008, one cedi bought you $1. In 2020, you need almost 6 to buy that same dollar. There are a number of factors at play, the biggest of which is capital flight. Investors have pulled large sums of money out of the country, concerned over its fiscal health and wary of the government's ability to rein in spending. The impact has been most felt among importers and traders, who say the depreciation is driving up the cost of doing business.
If your capital is like, let's say, $20,000 and stuff, and the exchange rate is, let's assume, 5 cedi, definitely if there is, increment in the exchange rate, there's no way you are going to get that 20,000 cedis with the same Ghana cedis. Definitely you need to go in for more.
Last year, the central bank was forced to inject $800 million into the country's reserves to halt a sharp decline in the cedi's value. The government also issued billions of dollars worth of bonds to boost dollar inflows. Both measures helped stabilize the tailspin, but only for a short while.
The Bank of Ghana plans to auction $715 million this year to tackle the cedi depreciation. Traders here hope this intervention will help reduce the cost of doing business as they import goods into the country.
But some economists say it won't fix the underlying issues.
The cedi will still struggle because fundamentally the structure is still import-based. That hasn't been taken off. Despite the 1D, 1F, the industrialization drive, it has not gotten to a point where it can resolve the deficit in the forex supply.
Economists want the government to focus on long-term changes instead, such as reining in public spending, boosting productivity and addressing Ghana's trade and budget deficits. Nana Adom and many traders affected by the weak cedi also want steps taken to boost the country's overall economic fortunes, as they believe in the long-term impact on their businesses.
From that report there in Ghana, we would now take a break and come back shortly with the remaining of our stories. Stay with us, don't go away.
is Sahna, founder and owner of Her Apparel, a mother's clothing brand. Tough Startup has been one of the best things that ever happened to my life, if not the best.
My name is Modula Ahmed Fatih, founder, farm manager, ML Poultry. Before Tough Startup 2018, this used to be my poultry house with about 200 chickens. And today, ML Poultry has just built a new farm with a production capacity of up to 4,000 chickens.
I'm Ivo Lawrence Mendy. I'm the CEO and the founder of Cameco. The Tough Startup, we're able to register the company in Ghana as a limited, let's Ride Africa Ghana Limited.
I urge every single young entrepreneur out there to give it a try. It's a life-changing experience.
Back. You are watching The World Today on iAfrica TV, and now we take a look at the remaining of the stories. Now, Tough Africa Global will on Tuesday welcome different stakeholders to its 2020 TAFCON event as it opened 2 forums for steering of expertise. The conference, of course, the conference that brings private sectors is expected to provide participants with opportunity to dilate on critical issues of development. Let's have more details of that in this report.
TAF Global Africa will host its 2020 edition of the TAF Conference and Networking event at Coral Beach Hotel and Spa in Brufut. TAFCON is an annual convergence in the Gambia hosted by TAF Africa Global as part of its corporate social responsibility strategy. The 2-day conference and networking forum is set to bring together stakeholders such as government officials, youth groups, NGOs, the private sector, and community activists to discuss and share information and ideas on significant areas of national development. Speaking ahead of the event, Usainu Sonse, Regional Manager for TAF Africa Global and Coordinator for TAFCON, said preparations has been ongoing since after last year's program, saying everything is ready for tomorrow's event.
And so the planning starts actually a few days after the last TAFCON. So we have a whole year to plan because if you know our brand and some of the things we want to do, excellence is our priority. And so we have been doing a whole lot of planning, and it's just coming down to the tail end of all of that. As far as what we have done, all the speakers have been ready, topics have been delivered. If you follow us on social media, you've noticed that we've been giving countdowns and tweeting the activities that are about to happen. The logistics for the guests that are coming, the international guests are here. So we're just in the end of just making sure that the hall is ready to go.
Mr. Sose also explains the relevance of the conference and its aspirations and reveal the targeted areas for the participants for deliberations, including tourism and technology.
Our goal is to ensure that the next TAFCON is better than the last one. And I think each one is special in its own way. One of the things we always do is to ensure that the topics that are being discussed in each TAFCON, we solicit the input of the audience and talk about issues that are relevant to them today. And so if you look at the topics that we're going to be discussing in this TAFCON, tourism is one of them. And we've noticed the issue about Thomas Cook and the impact that it had, and also with some of the activities that have been planned around December and the impact that it will have on tourism, and also where we aspire to be. That's just one. We know that we have a long way to go in some of our social issues, so we'll be talking about women empowerment.
TAFCON is the biggest private conference in the Gambia, and since its inception 4 years ago, it has been focused to inspire youth, the physically disabled, and other vulnerable groups to engage in meaningful activities in society. Reporting for Africa News, I am Amadou Kante.
From that report there, of course, on TAFCON, we head to China, where the People's Republic of China has condemned the United States airstrike on Iran, killing at least 2 of its top officials on Friday. Spokesperson of Chinese Foreign Ministry, in observation of rising tension between the United States and Iran, called on the U.S. to exercise restraint. The daughter to the late Iranian general is the latest to warn U.S. of possible retaliations of thousands of mourners gathered in Tehran. The Juldenjai have more of that in this report.
加剧地区局势的紧张动荡。中方一贯反对在
The spokesperson of the Chinese Foreign Ministry said on Monday that the United Nations military adventure in the Middle East has violated the basic norms in international relations and power politics against people's will. Jen Swang made the remarks when commenting on the escalating tensions between the US and Iran after the US killing of top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. Following Soleiman's death in US airstrike in Baghdad on Friday, the US claimed that it will launch airstrikes on 52 targets in Iran if the latter attempts to launch attack on any US civilians or properties. In response, Iran said it had confirmed that about 25 US targets in the Middle East are within its striking range. Mr. Zheng at a routine news briefing in Beijing said China opposes the use of force regarding the issue.
台湾地区局势进一步恶化，是任何人都不愿意看到的。
China is highly concerned about the current situation in the Middle East. No one would like to see the situation in the Middle East and the Gulf region further deteriorate. It is of utmost importance to the world to ensure peace and stability in the region. Power politics is unpopular and unsustainable. The recent military adventure of US has violated the basic norms in international relations and raised tensions and instability in the region. China is always opposed to the use of force in international relations. Military means have no way out, and extreme pressure will never work.
各国的主权、独立和领土完整
Jen said China urges the US not to use excessive force and will continue to uphold an objective and just position to safeguard peace and security in the Middle East and the Gulf region.
紧张动荡，中方一贯反对在国际关系中使用武力。
China maintains that all parties should honestly abide by the tenets and the principle of United Nations Charter and the basic norms governing international relations and the sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity of countries should be respected, and that peace and stability in the Middle East and the Gulf region should be maintained. We urge the US not to abuse military force and call on parties concerned to exercise restraints, avoid repeated escalations, return to the track of dialogue and consultations as soon as possible and work to cool the tension. China will continue to uphold an objective and just positive and play a constructive role in maintaining peace and security in the Middle East and the Gulf region.
In the United States, the House of Representatives is expected to introduce a new resolution that will limit powers of President Donald Trump from taking any unilateral decision on military actions regarding Iran. This announcement was made by Speaker Nancy Pelosi in a letter to her colleagues on Sunday. For iAfrica News, I am Juldenjai.
Well, thank you very much, Juldenjai, on that report, as China is calling for calm between the US and Iran after tensions continue to rise between the two nations. Well, viewers, that's all we have for you on the world today. But for more on this and others, you can also log on our website on iafrica.tv. Once again, I am Amadou Kante, and bye for now.